Hello, we are Geeks Assembled, and today I'm joined by Brian, Susan, and Alex. Um, we will be discussing a movie from 2016 starring Taron Egerton and Hugh Jackman, and it's a comedy biopic of a famous Brit who became famous for being a loser, but in the end became a national treasure in the UK. We are talking, as Susan's pointed out, Eddie the Eagle. Yep, there we go, Eddie the Eagle. So this is it is a biopic. It's based on a true life story, but the movie has been tweaked here and there. Just well, that's what they do these days, don't they? They just twist a little bit the truth. So we'll go around the guys with their opening thoughts of this movie. We'll go to Susan and Alex first.
All right. Well, I love this movie. I love this movie a lot. I love the representation that it does of this amazing ski jumper. I mean, I used to ski race. I skied downhill, and I've done a couple of cliffs. I've gone off a couple of cliffs. But when you look at the sheer drop and force that you're going to be jumping off the stupid jumps, I mean, I get scared for that. That's some serious, you know, letting go of a little wee thing. Anyway, oh, it's so good. And Taron Egerton, I can't say enough about good things about him. We're gonna try today. We're gonna try and talk about this amazing actor, this man with you know a lot of chops. I mean, he is sensitive to the strangeness and the oddity of Eddie. And he is sensitive and powerful in his presentation, and I just dig it. And I love how quintessentially British this is. I mean, this is a British guy going on tour in Europe, in the big mountains of Europe, to soar like an eagle, and that was just super fun. And so those are my opening thoughts. Here's Alex.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's I like how it's sort of both sided. That it admits that he's not the best of the best, but he definitely competes and he definitely tries. And I do like the fact that he takes all the criticism well. I mean, he doesn't just say, well, even though he does have a silly little dance. I mean, remember how many times in the movie that he should have broken his neck in 20 and his back in 20 places.
Mm-hmm.
So he had a lot of spirit and determination, like the Karate Kid. He just didn't know how to wax on and wax off.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is a good movie. I don't know how much they might have added or taken away for the story, but I'm glad that it wasn't done as a totally comical thing. So
Back over to you, Lee.
Thank you, Brian. I'll go into you now. I'm guessing you never heard of Eddie the Eagle, the real guy.
No, I have not.
No, because it is based on a real person. This really did happen back in 1988.
Yeah, I have never heard like any newspapers or even like stuff online about any of all this. So this is, I mean, judging based on this being on a true event, true story, and everything, this is absolutely new to me. So, well, from what I could gather from the film, I mean, like you said, Lee, like they retweak and reword a couple things for like their own story and benefit for the films. From like whenever they do make movies on the based on true events. I honestly loved it. I all things considered, like me being the first time of watching it, and in fact, this is based on a true story. This was a really, really good film to me. I loved every minute of it. Um, I was not expecting Hugh Jackman to be in it because I mean because I honestly this from what I was watching the film before he arrived on screen, this film just seemed like a film that he would not really be in, even though he was. So you know, I like his character in the film. It reminded me of a little bit of like Wolverine.
Really? I wonder why that reminded you of that.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. I know he played Wolverine in the X-Men films, but like, I mean, like, little bit of
the hard smoking.
Yeah, like little bit of little aspects of his character that was in the film. He smoked, he drank, he had the American accent. I honestly saw Wolverine without the claws.
He's never going to live that character down, is he? I mean, never, ever.
No matter how much that man asked, and no matter how much that man acts with different parts within his career, he never's going to live down Wolverine. He's going to be typecast with that role.
And also, well, it is rumored. I don't know how true it is, but it's rumored Taron Egerton is maybe the next Wolverine.
That's not going. That's even if it does happen, people are still going to see Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. But honestly, this is a really, really good movie. Love every 100% every minute of it. Like it's like they were like from start to finish. This is a absolutely amazing movie. You get to see the journey and the story of how this guy came to be.
Yeah.
Like he had a really, really strong passion of being a person that wants to be in the Olympics and everything, and having being a big star. And he comes across a path of doing ski diving or whatever it's called.
Ski jumping.
Yeah, ski jumping. Yeah. And at first, when he gets to the I guess the training arena of whatever he was, he starts from the small and he goes from to the very big one, and then he goes to the very, very big one towards the end. First timer too. So it's really incredible, amazing how one man could actually inspire and do everything that he possibly can to make that happen. And it's mostly because of his passion for being an Olympics, to be in Olympics and to being someone special. So I think that's one of the reasons why I love this film, because you get, not only it was like an intriguing film, but more of the reasons why it's intriguing is because you get to see this man have this passion, have start from finish a struggling of doing all that, and at the end of the day and of the movie, you get to see him become this person of being who he wants to be. And I love all that.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well said, Brian. No. You've just come out and said what you thought of it, and that's brilliant.
Doing like the whole training montage. I mean, there was, at least I think it's within the montage itself. There's maybe one No, wait. It was one. There was one song that I knew, and then at the end of the movie, there was another song that I knew, which is "Making My Dreams Come True," because I heard that in another film, which is 500 Days of Summer.
Mhm.
And then the other one was I forgot what it's called, but I recognized it from Ready Player One.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm just looking up here now.
Because I that's honestly like what I know that song from. Like at least both of those two songs. It's weird how I just know those songs from different.
Yeah,
movies.
yeah.
Guess it's what best Nova. but 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 yeah, absolutely loved. Even though I watched this with commercial per like one commercial per break, it was still that didn't interrupt the movie one bit. I loved every minute of it, and it's such a good movie. I would definitely sit down and watch it over and over again if I could, and I would recommend to anyone, would it be doing this review or even doing like with my family members or friends that I know. So I love this film.
Yeah, that's a question to you, Brian. Any of these movies, what we sit down and watch and talk about, do you ever say to your family, "Hey guys, you want to watch this movie?" You know, you
Uh,
know.
a couple of them, yeah, but this.
But that's good.
But this film right here is just on the top of that list that I really want, that I really might actually watch again, and like who knows, like watching 2-3 times or even like 6 times really, if like watching with family. I don't mind because
Well,
Watch it every single winter.
yeah, winter every winter. Yeah, so I'm hoping to see your parents' review of this in about a week's time, then, Brian.
okay, I'll get them on that.
Uh, but thanks for that. Yeah, as I said before this cast came on, and at the beginning of the cast, this is a true story, tweaked here and there, about the guy from the UK, Eddie the Eagle. This all happened 31 years ago in 1988 in the Winter Olympics. And it's just good to see the story of when he was a young kid. He was sort of disabled with the calipers on his legs, wanting to be Olympian, wanting to overcome this disability. Gets older and gets older. And he's finding out he's no good at this, he's no good at that. But he never gave in. In this, you got to, just as it says on the cover of the DVD, win or lose, always aim high. And he never gave in. That's Eddie Deagle never gave in. He never won. He never won the events he went in, but he came home to the UK after the Olympics, as I said, a national hero, a treasure. Everybody loved him.
Well, I also would like to add, Lee, in that,
Yeah.
like from what I saw in the movie, like again, like every event that he mostly went to, he didn't really win.
No,
But it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, win or lose,
he came.
win or lose, he's a winner in general because he loves passion, what he wants to do and everything, and he just goes on doing it. And really, nobody's. I mean, from what anybody really does, everybody's a winner because if you want to go, that's something. If you want to have a passion for it, just go for it.
Yeah, I mean, he came last in every event he entered, but
And I mean, what helped was his mother, really, because
oh yeah, yeah, true.
because
Going behind his father's back, yes.
from what both his parents, his mother was the one that had help had him helped him out and everything, and kept on spying him, and had his dream and passion to keep on trying and everything.
Oh yeah.
Until his dad wasn't really a big fan of that until at least the very end of the movie, until he actually
won him over.
yeah.
Yeah, totally agree.
I mean, which most parents are like that most of the time with
true. As I said though, he never won any of the events. He came last in all the events he entered, but he came home a British world record holder because we'd never done it before. So he went down in the books that way as well. But going on about the movie, Taron is such a talented actor, and he's fairly new to the business. Really, he's only done a handful of movies, but every movie he's been in, he's just blown it out of the water. And this one, facially, he does become Eddie the Eagle, because Eddie the Eagle did have a jutting jaw. It was always stuck out like that, and the way he portrays it, it's just, you look at him with the big glasses. Eddie the Eagle always wore them. Just brilliant. He is one of the top class actors of his days. His talent, really, top notch. As for Hugh Jackman, his character didn't exist in real life, but it was an amalgamation of Eddie's two coaches he had. So they put two people together to create this other character. But you had other people in this. I'm just looking back now. You had Jim Broadbent as a surprise guest there in the movie. You had Keith Allen. You had Tim McInerney. And I was, you were surprised at seeing Hugh Jackman in this. I was surprised at seeing Christopher Walken, because he's not credited on the thing here. But Christopher Walken does turn up. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's a feel good movie, and it's just, don't give in. Keep your dreams. Keep at your dreams, and you could achieve something better at the end of it. Just don't give in. Just keep at it, and this is what this movie is about.
I mean, it's more than a movie, really. It's a message for people like this.
Yeah, it's live by Eddie the Eagle's mantra, and just go for it. Don't give it. If people say to you, "Get away, you're going to become a plasterer or a bricklayer,"
don't give up. Don't give in. Just keep on doing it.
Keep your dreams, and one day you may succeed in that dream. It's a feel-good movie, and the acting in it is superb. And the comedy bits as well are fun. And when he's falling onto his ass is just hilarious. But we'll get to favourite bits now. So we'll go to Susan and Alex for favourite bits and stuff like that. Over to you.
Well, like I said, I mean, he has a lot of guts. He has a lot of drive, which is very good. Of course, he probably won't win any medals or anything like that. So the team, some people on the team didn't like him. Some people did. The committee did actually want to make it 100 meters so that he would not compete. He couldn't be on the team.
They were basically his nemesis.
And I mean, they admitted it. And, again, he took all criticism, he took it rightly. He didn't just say, "Oh, I give up," or "Everybody has to like me," or whatever. He wanted to accomplish a goal. And of course, it's, a little double-sided, because the real Olympics, you were supposed to try. You weren't supposed to just go and say, "Well, I'll make $1 million and I'll have the highest score." That's the modern Olympics. The original Olympics, you were just supposed to try. You weren't just supposed to be. Greece? Right, the one in Greece. Yeah, you got, you probably got a lot of honor and all that. But not everybody's at the top, 200% or whatever. So, he had enemies. He had one person trying to get him drunk so that he, wouldn't even compete. He wouldn't even show up for the event and all that. Of course, like I said, it's good that he stopped falling down, because he probably should have been injured. He probably should have been, really, really injured. So, I mean, it's inspirational in a way, in a way it's not. I mean, that's why you have to study history, because not everything is what the TV says. Not everything is what movies say. Just like Tom Jones admitted on interviews, Tom Jones, a singer, that he was a bricklayer, but he's also a singer. So I laugh when I see the debates on YouTube. Oh, he's not a real singer. I said, well, last time I checked, he's been doing it for 50 years. So if he's not a singer, that's a pretty good career for somebody who isn't a singer. He's been on the British Voice for I don't know how long. Of course, he's also 75 years old. So eventually he's going to have to retire. But in any case, just because people don't agree that you're the best, or just because you're not at the top of the plateau or the very top, there's plenty of singers, actors, lots of other people that they're not at the top, and they still compete and they're still there.
Well, I was really interested in this Olympic Games in Calgary. I actually thought that maybe, 4 years prior to this, that I would be ready for it and I would be skiing in it. No way. I started losing a lot, and anyway, so that was me dashed. But I still tried myself, and I really, really appreciate this movie. I didn't realize that this had gone on in the ski jumping world. I didn't really know anything about the ski jumping world except for how dangerous it was. Like the agony of defeat. There's a guy from the Czech Republic who was coming down, and he didn't even get launched. He just he lost his track, and he went down over the building that housed the jump, and it was always shown on one of the networks' Wide World of Sports thing, and it was called The Agony of Defeat. And so people in like the people knew how dangerous that was. So anyway, that was just amazing. The other thing that was really something spectacular about this was the way that he had dealt with the his antagonist was his father to begin with, and he dealt with him by perseverance and sticking to his guns, which is hard when it's your dad. It's super hard when it's your dad. And then when it was the British Olympic committee, I mean, those guys played by the gentleman that Lee just said, those guys are, well, first of all, those were like long-term character actors from England, and second of all, they were the committee really was trying to stop Eddie's progress, completely flummox him, and then his fellow athletes, like Alex said, tried to get him drunk, and he just persevered, and he worked through all the issues, and there was a great training montage. But in all honesty, he dealt with those people that were in his way, because nothing else was in his way. I mean, he was so dedicated and so powerful that he just went for it. And Taron Egerton got the physicality. They got his dance. He got his facial structure. I mean, he worked on the underbite and the cheeks and stuff, and like the forehead, and how he kept his hair. He kept his forehead, and then you see him in interviews, Eddie, and he looks just like Taron showed, and even today, and he was just like, although right now he's bald, and he doesn't have a mustache, and that little mustache that he grew for the Olympics. I mean, like, that was also part of the genius. I just love this movie too. I agree with Brian completely, 100%. Cute movie. And so back over to you, Lee.
Oh, brilliant. Positivity, that's what I like to hear. Brian, any things what stood out for you in the movie?
No. No, absolutely not. Because from what all I'm concerned is that this movie is mostly perfection to me. Because I don't see any flaws or anything that I would nitpick or take from the film. Because honestly, this is like one of the best films I have ever seen in a really, really long time.
That's brilliant. Brilliant. It's good to hear people say that about movies, what they've never heard of before. I like that.
I mean, from favorite moments from the movie, I probably be I think my first one would probably be from like when he goes and does the like the first few jumps, like from the first one to the second one and everything.
When he gets off the first one, he says, "Right, I think I'm ready for the higher one now."
Yeah, exactly. Like that scene and everything.
Do that.
And then when he does the second one, he just goes up and does it and falls right on his ass and everything. I believe the training montage would be probably my next favorite moment, because I mean, not only it had a song that I knew doing it, but it was a quite nice, cool little training montage. So, and then my last one would probably be from when he announces that he's going to be doing the biggest jump, which was 90 feet? A 90 footer jump. And Hugh Jackman's character decides to come down and have like a heart-to-heart talk before he actually does the jump.
It's, I mean, Hugh Jackman in it is brilliant. Yeah.
I mean, he's mostly an amazing actor from like all of the stuff that he does most of the time. Because I haven't even really seen most of his work, but I mean, from what I've seen, like Wolverine, I guess was the only one I'm mostly know him from. But I'm really invested like most of his movies now, because from what I saw from this film, I'm intrigued what he does within his other films.
Well, I recommend there's a film, Swordfish.
Swordfish?
I'd recommend that one. That's Hugh Jackman, John Travolta, Halle Berry. It's a crime. It's bank robbery crime.
There's a couple others. What about Les Miserables or?
That's a musical, but you might like that one.
I don't know. Swordfish is a little silly. I mean, you might like a lot of people like it for the topless scene of Halle Berry, but
what about the one that he had with Christian Bale?
Christian Bale.
I think he was in a movie with Christian Bale.
He most probably is. He's been in loads of movies. Off the top of my head, I can't remember.
I think I might also watch The Greatest Showman as well.
Yeah, another musical, but showing you his talent there as well, singing, dancing, whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
he was just in Boston doing a musical show, an actual like Broadway style show.
I mean,
that's where he came from, isn't it? He came from there, the musical side. Yeah.
I mean, he's both an actor and a singer, so it's nice to see that he brings that to his acting. Like whenever he does a film, he brings that sometimes to the character or even the movie that he's in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any more things there, Brian? Or
You could go back
right?
to.
Okay. I mean, I love the movie. I can't fault this movie. I mean, there's a little nod to another movie in this movie. Because the same year, in the same Olympics, there was a Jamaican team doing. Oh, Susan's just cottoned on.
Cool Runnings.
Cool Runnings, because on the, I think it was the radio on the TV in the scene in this movie, they said, "Oh, the Jamaican sled team are just about to," and then they turned the radio off or something like that. And it was a little nod to that movie there. Yeah, great movie as well. Yeah, brilliant movie, but also as well, if anybody gets a chance, get hold of the soundtrack inspired by the movie, because what they did with this soundtrack, that none of the songs, I think there's only 2 songs on this album what was in the movie, but the rest of the songs, what they did was they didn't want to just put any 1980s songs on a soundtrack. So what they did was write original songs, but get original 80s artists to record them. So if you ever get, this is what it was called Fly. It's the songs inspired by the film Eddie the Eagle. And on it, you've got Holly Johnson singing from Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Howard Jones, Mark Harmon from Soft Cell, Tony Hadley from Spandau Ballet, Mid Joe from Ultravox, Nick Kershaw, ABC, Kim Wilde, Andy Bell from Erasure, Go West, Heaven 17, Paul Young, and the last track, well, the second to last track is OMD, Orchestral Moves in the Dark. They're not singing the song, but Taron and Hugh Jackman are singing the song. And that was the song what played out to the credits on the movie, this one. But it's a brilliant album. It's got an 80s feel, but the original songs, but original 80s artists. So if you get that, it's called Fly.
Wait, is that the soundtrack?
Well, I've just said, Brian, have you been listening to a word I've said? It's songs inspired by the movie. There's
okay.
The last 2 songs are in the movie. They like play out at the end of with the credits, but the rest of the songs are inspired. So it's good. It's a good soundtrack if you're into your 80s sounding. So,
and it's cool that they got the original artists.
Original artists, original songs.
Yeah, Holly Johnson. You know, I miss his stuff, and
I won't, but he's a friend of mine on Facebook.
Well, aren't you special, Mister? But yeah, yeah. So that, but did you should drop him a note saying how wonderful your podcast group thought the music was.
Yeah, I mean,
because when 2 Tribes Go to War is one of the songs as he's launching from the 70-meter jump.
Yeah, but it's not on the album. It's
no, I get it. I get what you're saying. That this is inspired by the movie.
There's old Holly.
Yes.
Yeah, and lovely Kim Wilde.
Yes.
Like, what was it? When was this movie made? It was
2016.
16. And I got a question about the movie. If we're opening it up, it says it was produced by Seville.
Seville? What's that mean?
Saville.
I don't know.
Is that who I think it is?
Who's that?
Jimmy?
No. What? Seville?
Yeah.
No, No. Not the, we're not going that. Not no.
No, okay. I was just worried. I mean,
No.
I'm all Weinstein out here, and I was like, Seville, this is like, this was a question I had, but I'm glad it wasn't that. Good.
No. He didn't make movies.
Not good. I'm done. Let's just move on. Moving on.
Well, yeah, but now you've said produced, you've just reminded me. You've got to give a big thumbs up to the director, Dexter Fletcher.
Yeah.
Who started off as a child actor and has been in many TV shows in this country and in many movies, Lock, Stock and stuff like that. And
yeah.
But he's become a really talented director, and so you got a big thumbs up for directing that. So.
Agreed.
Anything else we'd like to say on this before final say and scores? No?
Nope.
Yeah.
All good.
Final say and scores then.
Brian.
Foods and seniors, you and Mike. Let's go to you.
All right, fine. I love this 100%. I will give this a solid gold, Olympic gold, 10 out of 10. It was amazing, and I really think Taron is an amazing actor. Literally, I love Kingsman, and I'll tell you more in our next podcast. But yeah, okay. Here's Alex.
Yeah, I mean, I'd give it a 8.7. Like I said, it's a fun biopic. Hopefully, it didn't fudge the truth too much.
Over to you.
Cool. And Brian.
Yes, it's my turn.
Oh, here we go.
All right. I think I would probably give this movie a proper 0. No, I'm just kidding. No. No, I'm gonna give this a 10 because
mind blown.
No, I'm gonna give this a 10 because I really enjoyed this film. This is absolutely a perfect film. I loved every 100% minute of it, and it's just so good. So
brilliant. That's what I like to hear when we get into cast. I mean, some people don't like some of the movies, but when people like the movies, it makes me feel a lot better. Me personally, yeah, it's a feel good. This has got feel good factor all over it. The acting, I can't fault the acting. Story, brilliant story. So I'm going to give it 10 glasses of milk out of 10. Just a little chin for Eddie there with his glass of milk. So, because he don't drink. The fool. So, on that note, we'll bring this one to a close. You guys here, thanks for joining me. I'm glad that we all enjoyed this movie. You guys out there, please check the movie out. I can't recommend it enough, and also the soundtrack as well. If you would like to be involved with us, let us know. Get in touch, leave a comment. We're on Facebook, Twitter. There's a little thing going on in my Instagram as well. We're all over the place. Just leave us a comment, messages, and we'll see what we can do. Until next time, be safe. Don't go ski jumping without a safety net, please. And until next time, we'll be seeing you. Bye now.
bye.
Oh, do you know, Brian, I'm going to wring your neck.